I stand in front of Malin's full-length mirror, studying my naked torso critically. Yes, ladies, that's right. I'm naked. Go ahead, get it all out. Okay. Are you done? Okay, good, because I'm going to continue now. My tunic lies in a crumpled heap on the floor next to me, lying over top one of my boots. I'm not sure where the other one's gone. I lost it somewhere last night in my dazed attempts at getting undressed and into bed. Okay, look, in my defense, it was really late, and I had a lot more on my mind than where I was putting my boots. My hat's on the night table beside the bed. Navi's curled up asleep inside it, and my weapons are placed carefully on Malin's desk. I frown darkly at the white strips of bandage wrapped around my middle. Hasn't been any blood on them for a few days now. I poke my stomach. Ow! I grunt, wincing and pressing my hand tightly against the bandage. Apparently, just because I'm not bleeding anymore doesn't mean I'm not hurt. But if I'm not bleeding, I don't really need the bandage anymore, right? I continue to justify myself removing the bandage before I should, and I do just that. The white strips fall away. I throw them over the top of my tunic and boot. A thick, white streak, outlined in angry red, is etched into my stomach. Wonderful. Not even 18 yet, and I've already got a scar. And if what the others are telling me is true, I'll probably have a lot more before I'm finished. I poke it again. Ow! I cry, pressing my hand to it, which causes more pain this time. Apparently, the bandages were also good for padding, too. Ugh! I pull my hand away and scowl at the scar.
You know, if you wouldn't touch it, it wouldn't hurt.
I look up and glare at Sheik's reflection in the mirror, as he stands just inside the door of the room. Huh, I say, leaning over, resisting the strong desire to wince as I do so, and grab my tunic. Sheik's expression is carefully neutral when I straighten.
You maybe shouldn't leave the bandages off. It might be a good idea to wear them for a little longer.
I meet his gaze as I deliberately jerk my tunic on, without the bandages. He crosses his arms and leans nonchalantly against the wall, a sure sign he's upset. Like I care. I start looking for my other boot.
Do you want to spar today?
He asks, making an attempt at conversation. Kind of reminds me of Zelda yesterday coming to talk to me. But unlike the princess, I don't care if Sheik thinks I'm a jerk.
Think you're strong enough yet?
I don't answer, and he shifts ever so slightly.
You want to get breakfast? I think Impa's making something now.
At Impa's name, my face darkens, and I refuse to look at Sheik as I continue looking for my boot. Sheik, realizing what I'm looking for, reaches under the desk and pulls it out. Why in Nehru's name did I put it under the desk? I will never know.
Did someone say breakfast?
Navi asks, blinking and rubbing her eyes as she floats up out of my hat.
Good morning, Navi.
Sheik greets her brightly. Too brightly. He holds out my boot, offering it to me.
Good morning.
That's it. I can't hold it in anymore. I grab the boot and glare at Sheik. How long have you known about all this? Navi's eyes go wide, and she takes a closer look at my expression.
Good night,
she says, sinking back down into my hat. Sheik's staring at me with a mixture of guilt and surprise.
I
shake my head at him in disgust, and angrily grab my other boot, sitting down on the bed to pull them on. Is that why you disappeared yesterday? Is that why you abandoned me?
I didn't abandon you.
Then what did you do? Huh? Sheik, you just left me there with those people who I don't even know.
They wouldn't have hurt you. You can trust them.
Why they dumped this whole hero of time thing on me out of nowhere. And you know what sucks? I can't deny it. I can't tell them I don't believe them, because as easy as that would be, it isn't true. I do believe them. But now suddenly they expect me to be some damn hero. They want me to go out there and beat up the bad guys and save the world, like I did last time. Here's the kicker, Sheik. I don't even remember last time. Whoever I was then, I'm not that person now. I know who I am now, and who I am is the guy who's gonna get torn limb from limb by hungry moblins when he finally gives in to the stupidity and tries to make a difference. I don't care how many fancy rocks or expensive flutes they give me. It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't make me any more of a hero of time than I was 2 weeks ago, before any of this even started. But, apparently, I don't have a choice in the matter. Apparently, Psycho Me, Dark Link, or whatever they called him, will be back eventually, and then I'll have to fight him. And I'll have to win, or Hyrule is done for! I paused in my tirade, eyes narrowed, fists clenched, chest heaving. I don't think I've ever been this furious in my life. It takes me a moment, but I finally managed to bring my rant back around to its original topic. And you just left me there! To deal with that! Alone! How could you do that to me, Sheik?
I've vanished on you before. This is nothing new, Link. It's never bothered you before. Why does it matter this time?
Because this time I needed you! You are the only friend I have in a world that has suddenly decided it's gonna chew me up and spit me back out. The only thing that makes any kind of sense for me, and I needed you, Sheik. And you couldn't even... You wouldn't even... Ah! My cry of pent-up anger and hurt and frustration is punctuated by the sudden arrival of Impa and Darunia at the door of the room, looking in with wide eyes.
What's going on?
Impa demands, her eyes scanning the room for any sign of a threat. While her eyes are taking in every shadow and possible hiding place in the room, however, Darunia's eyes have taken in the expressions on our faces. I ignore them both, though, holding Sheik's gaze with my own. How long have you known Sheik? I ask again, my voice low and uneven. Sheik doesn't answer. He doesn't seem to do anything but stare helplessly at me, as Darunia hustles me out of the room. I can hear Impa whispering something to herself on my way past her, as she looks at Sheik. Something about the price of 2 faces. Two-faced. Yeah. Two-faced. Yeah, that sounds right about Sheik. Some friend. Navi zips out of the room, dragging my hat behind her.
We Gorons have a saying.
Darunia says after a moment, watching Navi settle my hat on my head and slipping under it as he easily falls into step beside me. I fight furiously to get my anger back under control. He looks down at me, beady black eyes penetrating.
Loosely translated, it goes, fill an upset stomach, empty an upset mind.
Apparently, Gorons have a different digestive system than Hyruleans, I say, trying to keep my anger out of my voice. If our stomachs are upset, anything that goes in comes right back out.
That's the truth of it, brother. You Hyruleans are certainly delicate creatures.
He sobers suddenly, looking at me seriously.
But I was more concerned with the second half of the proverb, if you take my meaning.
There's not a whole lot to say, I reply, unclenching my fists and shoving them into my pockets.
It seems to me you had a lot to say about it just a few minutes ago. I'm sure Navi can attest to that.
Don't drag me into this, Darunia.
Navi calls from under my hat.
I'm not getting involved. She's done this to herself. She wants it fixed. She can fix it without my help.
What? I demand, crossing my eyes in an attempt to look up at my hat. Navi, in case you haven't noticed, I'm hardly a she. Navi irritably pulls out one of my hairs. Hey, ow! Don't do that!
I wasn't talking about you, dummy. Go back to your blissful ignorance.
Blissful ignorance, yeah, that's nice. Great. Now Navi's in a bad mood, too. If Darunia knew what was good for him, he'd leave now before one of us snaps at him, too. I tell him as much.
I'm not afraid of your temper, brother. I respect it, in fact. A bit of healthy anger is good for people.
I don't feel very good, I respond bitterly as we move into the kitchen.
Anger's only healthy on the outside. Empty an upset mind, remember?
And fill an upset stomach, I say with a wry grin, as Darunia heads straight for the bombflower plant he's brought with him. I move over and sit down across from him as he plucks the bombflower, watches the fuse light, and then pops it into his mouth. He chews and swallows as another bombflower blooms where the first one had been picked.
So,
he says once he's eaten that one, too.
I'm working on the first half of the proverb. How about you start on the second?
I blink at him and scratch my head with a sigh. He looks at me.
Link, you and I are sworn brothers. It is my duty to help you with this.
Empty and upset mind, huh? I don't really know if I can do that. But I try. Reluctantly at first. It's not really Darunia's business when you get right down to it. And I don't want to burden him with all my problems. He's sitting there chewing on bombs. He's got problems of his own. But it doesn't take me long to really get going. More than once, Darunia's got to interrupt me to tell me that some of the others are still sleeping, and I should quiet down. Just a bit. It takes me a while, but I finally wind down, too. I don't know why it bothers me so much. I say, finally. This whole Sheik thing, I mean. I add for clarification. Sheik's not the only thing I ranted about. I mean, Saria did the same thing. She knew about all this, and I can get mad at her. Then again, she was there yesterday. She didn't just up and leave. Ruto knew about this too, and he'd stayed quiet. He wasn't there yesterday, though, and that's hardly his fault. I mean, I just could have really used Sheik yesterday. But apparently not only has Sheik known about this as well, he wasn't there yesterday. And he won't tell me why. I scowl darkly down at my mug of hot chocolate. It really bothers me that he knew. It shouldn't. I mean, it doesn't bother me that Saria or Bruiser knew. But it bothers me that Sheik knew. And I don't even know why. When I look up, Darunia is giving me that look. That secretive, curious, startled, I know something you don't and I am debating how much I can tell you look. I really hate that look. Don't do that. Don't look at me like that, Darunia. If you know something, tell me. For a moment, I actually think he might. But then the Goron leader gives a disgruntled sigh.
I'm sorry, Link, but I can't.
I return back to scowling at my mug. Okay, fine. Do sworn brothers often keep secrets from each other? I can see him wince out of the corner of my eye. I'm gonna take that as a no.
No, they do not. And you have no idea how much it grieves my heart to do so. But neither do they tell each other secrets. And I'm also a sworn brother to the king. And Zelda is his daughter.
My scowl turns into a puzzled frown as Darunia gets up and walks out of the kitchen. Zelda? Wait a minute. What does she have to do with any of this? I look up where Darunia disappeared. What was that? Was that a hint? Why did he mention Zelda?
You there?
A voice demands imperiously from behind me. I wince and drop my mug. Oh no, not her. But sure enough, Princess Ruto glides imperiously into the room and sits imperiously across from me.
What are you making me for breakfast?
I run into Zelda and Impa on my way back to Malon's room to collect my weapons. Impa looks, well, the same as she always does. But Zelda almost looks like she's been crying. 5 minutes ago, I had a tirade of angry questions for the psychotic princess right at the tip of my tongue. But looking at her tear-stained face as she hurries to try to wipe away any clear signs of crying, I suddenly can't remember a single one of them. I turn to look at Impa. Hey, Impa, could you... My voice dies off. Impa's gone. I frown. Damn, Sheikah, why can't they just say goodbye like normal people? Takes me a minute to realize that Zelda's trying to push past me without meeting my gaze. Whoa, hold up there, princess, I say, maneuvering myself in front of her and blocking her escape. What happened to you?
What do you mean?
You look horrible. I respond without thinking. Pluck! Navi rips out another hair. Ow! Stop that! I cry, rubbing my head.
What?
Sorry, I was talking to Navi. She's trying to make me go bald.
No, I mean, what did you say about me?
I said you look horrible. I repeat. She stares at me incredulously, wondering whether to be offended or not. In case you're wondering what she decides to be, she decides on the former.
How dare you!
I roll my eyes. Well, it's true. Your hair's all messed up, your face is all red, and your eyes are all bloodshot. And, yeah, no offense, but the frowning doesn't really suit you at all. In my opinion, I think you look much more prettier when you smile. Her frown deepens, and her brow draws down. Oh, look! A wrinkle! Pluck! Ow! Navi, for the love of... I rip my hat off and grab that fairy before she can make a run for it. I hurtle her through the air over Zelda's head and pull my hat back down on my head and hold it there.
You deserved it, you jerk.
Navi shouts at me as she rights herself in the air and starts flailing her wings, stopping her frantic flight. What kind of partner are you? I cry, rubbing my head and wincing. Saria's partner doesn't pull her hair! Navi flares back over to me and perches imperiously on my shoulder. In case you haven't noticed, she's taken some habits from Ruto, and I'm not sure if I like that very much.
Saria's not a jerk.
She moves to go back under my hat, and I pull it down further over my head.
Oh, come on. Let me back under your head.
No way! You hurt me when you're under there!
Only when you deserve it.
Oh, only when I'm a jerk. Yeah, okay, fine. Well, tell you what. You don't get to go back under until you promise to stop pulling out my hair.
I don't stop pulling your hair out until you promise to stop being such a jerk.
For a minute, I considered pulling out some of her hair. She deserved it. But then reality kicks in, and I realize that her hair's too small. I'd wind up ripping her head off. No. I can't do that. That would be too evil. Then I guess you don't get to go back under my hat. I blink when Zelda, whose lips have been twitching since the argument started, suddenly breaks out laughing. Unable to hold it in anymore, I turn to her with a crooked, triumphant grin. See? I told you. You're prettier when you smile.
Can I go now?
I think about it. No. No, I don't think you can. She frowns at me.
Why not?
I smirk at her. Because you're frowning again. She doesn't want to, but she laughs again, and I step to the side to let her pass. Cheer up, princess. I say as she passes me. Whatever it is, it can't be that bad. She smiles at me, without quite meeting my gaze, and walks down the hallway. I turn around and lean up against the wall as I watch her leave. I wonder what was wrong with her in the first place. If I didn't know any better, I say that someone had said something to upset her. I'd like to get my hands on the jerk who did it and give him a rather violent piece of my mind. Probably never know, though. I doubt she'd tell me. Crazy princess. She and Sheik have way too much in common. Secret sons of pluck. Ow! Navi! I'm trembling. Because of the cold? Because of the pain? Because of the fear? I don't understand. I'm surrounded by whiteness, cold and blank. I spin around, searching desperately for some familiar sight, some sign that I'm still, I don't know, alive? Alive or not, there's nothing here. Nothing but me and this whiteness. Suddenly, however, I see something out of the corner of my eye. I turn and look, hope rising in my chest, then dying, stillborn when I see it. It looks almost like a ripple. A huge, dark ripple in the whiteness. I swallow hard and take several steps back as the ripple advances, picking up speed as it comes. Some buried alive instinct thumps deep in my chest. This is going to hurt. I whirl around and attempt to run from the ripple, but I take no more than 2 steps before it reaches me and knocks me back against a stone altar. I'm pressed up against the smooth stone, uncomfortably aware of the 3 dents in it. Pain sears through me. Every inch of me burns with a pain unlike anything I've ever felt before. Or have I? Blurred images run through my mind. A tall, imposing man. Ganondorf. Yes, Ganondorf, I realize now. With amber eyes glaring at me with a venomous look. See him raising his hands, and I just scream as the pain increases.
Hero of time.
Gritting my teeth, I force my eyes open, peering around me. The whiteness is gone, replaced with an absolute darkness. Who's there? I cry around the pain. I press a hand tightly to my stomach and work my way into a sitting position. Who's there? Before I even finish the question, I know the answer. I know who it is. It's Psycho Me. It's Dark Link.
Hero of time!
Screams a voice from behind me. I whirl around just in time to see an ebony figure lunging at me, 3 feet of black steel gleaming in his hand. No! Without wasting any more time and half-formed words, I try to roll off the altar and onto my feet. The pain abruptly increases, however, and I cry out and crumple back on the cold, smooth surface.
Hero of Time!
The figure screams again. He leaps at me, and I struggle to roll out of the way, but I'm not fast enough. His black blade slides through my stomach, impaling me, pinning me to the altar as my blood runs down the sides of it, filling the gaps in the stone. I gasp, and my eyes go wide, even as the hands clutch at the blade inside me. Darkling smiles down at me. His face blurs and shifts. He looks like Ganondorf.
Your blood will open the seal.